Hello everyone, Mipa here, trying to make your Monday a little better and maybe even something to look forward to. Now, if you haven't already seen my video from last week, which with how many views it got, I feel like the chances are small, but if you haven't seen it already, there is a link to a webcomic I made this month, or technically no, last month by the time I post this, in the description if you want to go look at it and read it. Warning, you will get spoilers if you watch this, so you may want to check that out first if you haven't already. This is kind of an explanation of it, with the ideas behind the webcomic. I can't help but make it a little bit serious. Am I kind of nervous about this? Yes, but you know what? Here we are, here I am, too late now, we're gonna talk about it. The main reason I'm nervous is just because of how many views that video got. It got over 300 by now, and it's scary to me, but you know what? Here we are. So let's just get into it. This video, this webcomic, it was kind of about certain mindsets that some people might have. These mindsets are very isolating. You may hear that word a lot based off of the little practice ones of this video I have done for myself. So apologies if I say the word isolating a lot, I just don't really know how else to say it. So, this kind of mindset, from my knowledge, now I'm not an expert at all, this is just me talking about my thoughts that went into the webcomic I made called Dark Thoughts Away. So it's about, some kind of, not necessarily bad, but they're not really great for the person either. So they're kind of dark, you could say. Mindset is very isolating, and from my knowledge at least, sometimes how these mindsets can come along is if in the past maybe one has felt left behind or ignored or abandoned, just a lot to the point where it causes either a conscious or maybe even just subconscious worry of being left behind or ignored again. And that's kind of what happened to Babs, the main sheep character of the story. They were pushed away constantly, and that caused them to have kind of a not great mindset, which became a more visual and literal representation of it for the webcomic. Now, this kind of mindset tries to be a protection for the person experiencing it. That is usually the at least attempted goal of it. It doesn't go about it in the best way usually, especially in Babs' case. So when I made this for her, when it's when the darkness is coming out, it kind of looks like a shell almost on her back, a turtle shell. And it has spikes, like hedgehogs, porcupines, they have spikes on them. And both of these things are for protection. Because usually, with this kind of mindset, what it tries to do is act as protection to ensure that the person isn't abandoned or left behind or judged or anything like that again. That is what it's trying to do. It is trying to make sure that that worst case scenario doesn't happen. Although, what it could do a lot, this is where the isolation comes in, it will just push away everyone. That is usually what this kind of mindset tries to do. It'll try to push away literally everyone, whether they're nice, whether they're mean, no matter what, just to make sure it doesn't happen again, where they get abandoned. So for Babs, these little like tendrils would come out and start scaring people away. Because then, if those people couldn't get close to Babs, then they couldn't hurt her, right? But the thing is, what the mindset also could do is cause other bad mindsets as well, where when, like literally other than just like the webcomic way, or even in the webcomic way, because I did try to like include this, it does push people away, and sometimes it feels like the person is hurting the other people in the process of trying not to get hurt themselves. So this could be in the form of either like being really snappy at people if they try to get close, or like accidentally ignoring people, or like anything like that, really, or even like physically pushing people away, or just walking away the moment someone tries talking to the person. Like anything like that can end up like being many ways of trying to like push people away in that trying to be a protective mindset. And sometimes in doing this, it can cause thoughts of, oh no, now I'm hurting people, like, that's not good, and it causes further worries that way. Which Babs definitely had, because she started not wanting to let people near her because she felt like she was going to hurt those other people, which, honestly, with that tendril thing, is a fair thought for her to have. I'd be concerned too if I had like big tentacles coming and pushing away anyone that came near me. So that was a very like prominent thing where she did not want to hurt people. And that's the thing with these isolating mindsets, because it'll start even telling you, like, you're gonna hurt people if you let people come near you, and if you don't hurt them, they'll hurt you. So it just creates this like loop where it's telling you that you're doing something wrong because you're like pushing people away or because you're hurting them, but at the same time it's the same mindset that's telling you to push them away and to stay away from everybody. And it just becomes this horrible loop to get stuck in. So that's kind of what Babs was going through. And it caused her to just completely isolate herself by hiding away in a forest. That is, until Tawny came along. Now, when Tawny came along, here's the problem. Something that this mindset also does is try to protect itself. It doesn't want whoever has this mindset to really like find another way out. What the mindset usually seems to do is kind of try to keep you in it, where in the process of pushing other people away, it doesn't really let you see what a better option could be. Even when people try to like talk to the person with the mindset, like they try to talk to them, try to get close to them, like try to show they care, anything like that, the mindset will try to say, like, by letting them care about you, you're hurting them, even if it's doing the complete opposite. And it just does whatever it can to keep you from even potentially seeing a better way than the current mindset. It tries to, like, keep you from seeing that, you can make people happy, you can have friends, you can not hurt people by being around them, and that it is possible, and you are a good person, and you're not hurting everybody that you even look at. And it's difficult. And how this kind of worked for Babs is, I don't know how prominent it was, but when her eyes would turn purple, there would be a tendril holding one of or both of her hands, as if it's like trying to be there, trying to be supportive, trying to be protective, even though it's really not. But her eyes, like going like all purple like that, was kind of symbolizing how it wasn't letting her see what could be a better way, and it wasn't letting her fight it, and it wasn't letting her even think about going against it or even think about trying a different way. But then there was Tawny, and Tawny found a way to get around that. Because even though Babs' eyes like turned purple, wasn't letting her see the better way, and Babs was still like, go away, I don't want to hurt you, like, you can't be near me, talking about all that. Even with that, Tawny kept trying. People like this in the real world really appreciate. These people are like, they try to be patient with whoever has this mindset. They do what they can to understand, and sometimes these people could even have gone through this mindset, and that's why they understand. And they try to help other people that they may be able to tell is struggling with it too. These people are genuinely kind, and they really do what they can for their friends, and people like Tawny can be the kind where they want a lot of friends, they love making friends, that is what Tawny is. But there are people like this too, where maybe they don't have as many friends, and they just help and put everything they can into the friends they do have. And either way, these people are great. These people, like Tawny, are there for people with these mindsets, and they will stand by them and help them. And not only with these mindsets, they will help with anyone with like any kind of like mindset that's hurting the person. And I just really appreciate people like this. So Tawny did that for Babs, pushed through, fought through it with Babs, and really did whatever she could to get to Babs, even when Babs completely gave up. And she helped her. And it was I really enjoyed drawing that scene, if I'm being honest. Like, it was just so sweet for me. And I really wanted this story to have that happy ending to it. Because while these mindsets can get really dark, and while these mindsets can be very hard, there's always a way out. There's always a way out. And sometimes that first step is just being ready to try to push through it. Being ready to at least try to accept that you won't hurt people and you won't be left behind. Sometimes all that takes is opening your eyes to what's already there. Like Babs. She had Tawny all of a sudden. And she opened her eyes, pushed the thoughts away, enough to accept that Tawny was there and accept being her friend. Now, not everybody already has that. Not everybody is able to just open their eyes and it's there. Sometimes it takes a little bit more work than that. Sometimes it feels impossible to find a person like Tawny. it feels impossible to find somebody who will actually care, and sometimes even that is just due to the mindset, and sometimes it's not. And whichever it is, it just takes a little bit to figure it out. But whichever it is, it's possible to push through it. Sometimes, the best Tawny you can have is yourself. Even when it feels like no one's there, you always have you. That is a thing where personally I tell myself that sometimes. You always have you, no matter what. So, while sometimes yourself could feel like your worst enemy, sometimes it feels like yourself is the person that you're always fighting with. But sometimes yourself can be the best friend that you have been looking for. All it takes is being willing to open up to the idea. It's much easier said than done, but it's possible. Anyone can do it. You just have to believe. Sometimes it takes time. It's difficult. It's not an easy process. But it's possible. And that is my little spiel about my thoughts behind Dark Thoughts Away. These mindsets, I wanted to do something about it. I wanted to make a visual representation of it, and it turned into an entire comic. And now it's turned into this ramble that you see before you. Thank you to anyone who took the time to listen. Really appreciate it. And if anyone listening is struggling with this mindset, or anything like it, you can push through it. And that is all I have to say. If you haven't already read my webcomic, I would love if you'd go check it out in the description. But either way, whoever you are, whatever you're going through, I hope you have an amazing week, everybody. Goodbye!